The year was 2157. The human exploration vessel, USS Tranquility, drifted through the darkness at the edge of the Sol system. Captain Samuel Wright stood on the bridge, his weathered hands resting on the polished wooden railing. Unlike the sleek, all-metal designs of previous generations, the Tranquility featured touches of Earth that the psychological division had insisted upon: real wood, fabric upholstery, and most notably, wooden rocking chairs bolted securely to the floor in recreation areas and officers' quarters. "Captain, sensors are picking up something unusual," said First Officer Lisa Martinez, her eyes fixed on the holographic display. "3 objects approaching from beyond Neptune's orbit, definitely not natural bodies." Wright straightened his uniform. "First contact?" "Possibly," Martinez replied. "Their movement patterns are strange, almost like they're studying our vessel design." Communications Officer George Winters swiveled in his chair. "They're broadcasting, sir. Universal mathematics followed by what appears to be language samples. Standard, first contact protocol," Wright said. "Respond in kind and prepare the welcome package." The bridge crew worked with practiced efficiency, while Wright studied the approaching vessels on the main screen. They were beautiful in an alien way, gleaming metallic constructions that seemed to flow rather than connect, with no straight lines anywhere in their design. "Sir," Winters said, "we've established basic communication. Their commander wishes to speak with you." The main screen flickered and an alien face appeared. It had 6 eyes arranged in a circle around a central mouth filled with small, translucent teeth. The skin was pale blue with a metallic sheen. "I am Admiral Kustvak of the Vorax Imperium," the translation software rendered in a flat monotone. "Your vessel has been detected in space claimed by the Imperium." Wright stepped forward. "I am Captain Samuel Wright of the Earth vessel Tranquility. We were unaware this region had been claimed. We come in peace and friendship." The alien's eyes blinked in sequence, creating an unsettling ripple effect. "Your technology is primitive. Your ship design is inefficient." "Perhaps," Wright said diplomatically, "but it serves our needs. We would welcome cultural exchange to learn from each other." The alien seemed to consider this. "We will scan your vessel to determine threat level." Before Wright could respond, Martinez called out, "Sir, they're scanning us. Very thorough scans." "Let them look," Wright said calmly. "We have nothing to hide." Engineer Alan Carpenter's voice came through on the internal comm. "Captain, their scan is focusing heavily on our structural materials, particularly the wooden elements." "Wood is rare in space," Wright replied. "Perhaps they find it interesting." The scan continued for several minutes, far longer than necessary for simple threat assessment. Finally, Admiral Kustvak spoke again. "We will send a delegation to inspect your vessel directly." Wright exchanged glances with Martinez. This was proceeding faster than any first contact simulation they had trained for. "We would be honored," Wright replied. An hour later, a small Vorax shuttle docked with the Tranquility. Security Chief Frank Nelson met Wright at the airlock. "Security team is in position, sir," Nelson whispered. "Non-threatening but ready." Wright nodded. "Remember, everyone, these are our guests." The airlock cycled open to reveal 3 Vorax. In person, they were taller than humans, nearly 7 feet, with slender limbs that moved with unusual fluidity. Their breathing seemed labored. "Welcome aboard the Tranquility," Wright said with a slight bow. The lead Vorax, wearing what appeared to be a ceremonial collar, stepped forward unsteadily. "Your gravity is intense," the translator rendered. "We can adjust it if you'd prefer," Wright offered. "Unnecessary," the Vorax replied. "Show us your ship." Wright led the delegation through the Tranquility. The aliens moved with obvious discomfort, their bodies seeming to struggle against Earth normal gravity. They said little but recorded everything with small devices held in their 3-fingered hands. When they reached the recreation area, the lead Vorax froze at the sight of an off-duty navigator gently rocking in one of the wooden chairs while reading a physical book. "What is the purpose of this motion furniture?" the alien asked. Wright smiled. "It's called a rocking chair. Many humans find the gentle rocking motion soothing. They're quite old technology, but we keep traditions that enhance our well-being. The Vorax delegation conferred among themselves in rapid clicks and whistles that the translator couldn't process. The lead alien approached the empty rocking chair beside the navigator and touched it cautiously, setting it in motion. All 6 eyes widened, and it stepped back quickly. "Is something wrong?" Wright asked. "Your species voluntarily subjects itself to destabilizing motion?" the alien asked. "It's quite pleasant, actually," Wright replied. "Would you like to try it?" "No," the lead Vorax said firmly. "We have seen enough." The delegation insisted on returning to their shuttle immediately. As they departed, Wright could see them transmitting data back to their ships. Back on the bridge, Martinez looked concerned. "That didn't go as well as hoped, sir." "First contacts rarely do," Wright replied. "But they didn't shoot at us, so I'll count it as a win." "Sir," Winters interrupted, "the Vorax ships are moving away at high speed. They're transmitting large data packages toward the outer system, encrypted." Engineer Carpenter arrived on the bridge, slightly out of breath. "Captain, I've been analyzing their scan patterns. They were especially interested in our rocking chairs, of all things." "Noted," Wright said thoughtfully. "Send a full report to Earth. Include everything about the Vorax reaction to our furniture. It might seem trivial, but First Contact has taught us that cultural misunderstandings often hinge on the smallest details." The Tranquility continued its mission, but over the following days, Wright found himself often thinking about the Vorax's strange reaction to the rocking chairs. He even spent time in his own quarters, slowly rocking while staring at the stars, wondering what it was about this simple motion that had disturbed their visitors so deeply. 6 weeks later, as Samuel Wright was recording his daily log, an urgent message from Earth Central Command flashed on his screen. Deep space monitoring stations had detected a massive fleet of Vorax warships entering the solar system. The message was brief but chilling. "Return to Earth immediately. Invasion force approaching. All ships recalled for defense." Wright stared at his rocking chair, suddenly understanding that something about this simple piece of furniture might have started a war. And just maybe it might also hold the key to ending it. 6 months passed since the first contact with the Vorax. Dr. Karen Butler had not slept properly in 3 days. She stared at the screens in NASA's Deep Space Monitoring Station, watching as hundreds of Vorax warships moved steadily toward Earth. Each ship was at least 3 times larger than anything humans had built. "How long until they reach Mars orbit?" she asked her assistant. 4 days at their current speed," he replied. "Earth Defense Command has already ordered full military alert." Dr. Butler nodded tiredly. When the first Vorax ships had appeared at the edge of the solar system, many had hoped they came in peace despite the hasty end to their first meeting with the Tranquility. That hope died when the aliens destroyed an unmanned research station near Jupiter without warning. At Space Fleet headquarters in Houston, Admiral John Davis convened an emergency meeting. Captain Samuel Wright of the Tranquility had been recalled to Earth along with every available ship. "Captain Wright," Admiral Davis said, "you're the only person who has actually met these aliens. Tell us everything again." Wright stood before the assembled military leaders and scientists. "They called themselves the Vorax Imperium. They appeared uncomfortable in our gravity and were disturbed by our ship design, particularly our use of wooden materials." Colonel Patricia Simmons, the chief military strategist, raised her hand. "I've reviewed the footage from your first contact. The aliens seemed physically distressed when they visited your ship." "Yes," Wright agreed. "They struggled with our gravity level, and they had a strange reaction to our rocking chairs. This caught the attention of physicist Dr. Henry Jackson." "Rocking chairs? What kind of reaction?" "Confusion, possibly disgust," Wright explained. "They asked why we would voluntarily subject ourselves to destabilizing motion. They refused to try sitting in one." Dr. Jackson made quick notes. "And their ships have no straight lines, you said? All curves and flowing shapes?" Wright nodded. "Correct. I have a theory," Dr. Jackson said. "If the Vorax evolved in a lower gravity environment, their inner ear equivalent would be different from ours. They might be extremely sensitive to certain types of motion. Colonel Simmons leaned forward. Are you suggesting their biology might give us an advantage? It's possible, Dr. Jackson replied. Captain, did the Vorax move differently when they saw the rocking motion? Wright thought back to that day. Yes, they became agitated and left shortly after seeing the rocking chair. Admiral Davis broke in. This is all very interesting, but how does it help us against a fleet that outnumbers us 10-1? I'm not sure yet, Dr. Jackson admitted, but I think we should investigate this potential weakness further. As the meeting continued, an alert sounded. Admiral Davis checked his tablet, and his face darkened. The Armstrong has been captured. The Vorax took the entire crew. The room fell silent. The Armstrong was a small science vessel that had been monitoring the incoming fleet from a safe distance. We have to assume they're interrogating the crew, Colonel Simmons said grimly. Or worse, someone muttered. Captain Wright spoke up. Admiral, I'd like to volunteer the Tranquility for a special mission. What kind of mission? Davis asked. If Dr. Jackson is right about the Vorax sensitivity to motion, we might be able to use that. Engineer Carpenter on my ship thinks he can modify our artificial gravity systems. Dr. Jackson's eyes widened. To create a rocking effect throughout the ship? That could work. Admiral Davis considered this. It's a long shot, but we need every advantage we can get. Make it happen. Aboard the captured Armstrong, Lieutenant Daniel Reyes tried to remain calm as the Vorax guards led him to yet another interrogation. His fellow crew members were being kept in separate cells. The Vorax had not harmed them physically, but the questioning had been relentless. The interrogation room contained a strange chair that conformed to Vorax physiology. The alien questioning him today had more elaborate markings than previous interrogators. Human, the Vorax said through a translation device. Explain your species' tolerance for motion and gravity. Reyes blinked in surprise. What do you mean? Your ships contain devices that create intentional instability. Your species shows no distress from gravity fluctuations that would incapacitate a normal species. Reyes realized they must be talking about the rocking chairs. You mean rocking chairs? They're just for comfort. The alien's 6 eyes blinked in sequence. Impossible. Our scans show they create motion that would cause severe disorientation. Not to humans, Reyes explained. We find it soothing. Many human babies are rocked to help them sleep. The Vorax made a sound the translator didn't catch. Your defensive capabilities are more advanced than we anticipated. Reyes almost laughed despite his fear. Did the Vorax think rocking chairs were weapons? Meanwhile, aboard the Tranquility, Engineer Alan Carpenter worked feverishly with his team to modify the ship's gravity systems. If we alternate the artificial gravity in this pattern, he explained to Captain Wright, it should create an effect similar to sitting in a rocking chair, but throughout the entire ship. Wright studied the diagrams. Will it affect our crew? Some minor discomfort, maybe, Carpenter said, but nothing we can't handle. We're used to gravity variations in space. But based on what we saw of the Vorax, this could seriously disorient them. How soon can it be ready? 24 hours, Carpenter promised. Wright nodded. Good. Admiral Davis has approved our mission. We're going to approach a smaller Vorax ship and test this theory. As promised, the modifications were completed the next day. The Tranquility left Earth orbit, headed toward a Vorax patrol ship near Mars. The plan was simple but dangerous. Approach under a flag of truce, let the Vorax board if they wished, then activate the gravity oscillations. All stations report ready, Captain, First Officer Martinez said. Excellent, Wright replied. Let's hope this works. If not, we've just volunteered to be captured. The Tranquility approached the Vorax patrol vessel, broadcasting peaceful intentions. As expected, the alien ship moved to intercept them. They're hailing us, Communications Officer Winters reported. On screen, Wright ordered. A Vorax commander appeared. Human vessel, you are ordered to surrender. We wish to discuss terms, Wright replied. We invite you to board our vessel for negotiations. There was a pause as the Vorax considered this. Finally, the alien said, We accept. Prepare to be boarded. 20 minutes later, 10 Vorax soldiers entered the Tranquility's airlock. They moved cautiously, weapons ready. Wright greeted them with his hands visible. "Welcome aboard." The Vorax leader stepped forward. "Take us to your command center." "Of course," Wright said. "This way." As they walked through the ship, Wright tapped a hidden signal on his wrist communicator. Throughout the Tranquility, the modified gravity systems engaged. The effect was immediate. The Vorax soldiers stumbled, their movements becoming uncoordinated. Several dropped their weapons and clutched at the walls. The leader tried to raise his weapon but fell to his knees. "What is happening?" the alien gasped. "Just a little rocking," Wright said, fighting his own mild discomfort. "Nothing harmful." Within minutes, all the Vorax soldiers were incapacitated, unable to stand or fight as the gentle rocking motion of the ship's gravity overwhelmed their senses. Wright looked at his crew, who were handling the effects much better than their visitors. "I think we've found our advantage." News of the Tranquility's success spread quickly through Earth's defense fleet. The Vorax soldiers had been contained in a section of the ship where the gravity oscillations were turned off, allowing them to recover while being held prisoner. Captain Wright immediately sent a detailed report to Admiral Davis. In the main laboratory of Space Fleet Headquarters, Dr. William Taylor studied the footage of the incapacitated Vorax with great interest. As an expert in biomechanics, he understood why the aliens were so affected by the rocking motion. Their inner ear structure is completely different from ours, Dr. Taylor explained to Admiral Davis and Colonel Simmons. The motion that soothes human babies actually causes severe disorientation in Vorax physiology. "Can we use this on a larger scale?" Admiral Davis asked. "Absolutely," Dr. Taylor replied. "Engineer Carpenter has already sent the specifications. For the gravity oscillators, we can install them on all our ships within days." Colonel Simmons looked thoughtful. "The Vorax are still holding the crew of the Armstrong. If we could rescue them while testing this new advantage." Admiral Davis nodded. "Assemble a rescue team. The Tranquility will lead the mission." Meanwhile, aboard the Vorax command ship, Lieutenant Daniel Reyes and the other prisoners from the Armstrong were being moved. The aliens seemed agitated, communicating in rapid clicks and whistles. "Something's happening," whispered Nurse Susan Grant, who was in the same holding area as Reyes. "They're worried about something." Reyes nodded. "I think our people might have found a way to fight back." A Vorax guard approached them. "You will be transported to the home world for further study. Your tolerance for destabilizing motion is of great interest to our scientists." "What about our ship?" Reyes asked. "The Armstrong is being examined," the guard replied. "Your primitive technology presents no threat." As the prisoners were led toward a transport shuttle, alarms suddenly blared throughout the Vorax ship. Guards looked around in confusion. "Alert! Human vessels approaching!" announced a voice over the communication system. "Prepare for combat!" The guards hurried the prisoners along faster, but Reyes noticed they seemed distracted. If there was going to be a chance to escape, this might be it. Near Mars orbit, the Tranquility led 2 other Earth vessels toward the Vorax ship holding the Armstrong prisoners. Captain Wright stood calmly on the bridge as they approached. 3 Vorax warships moving to intercept, First Officer Martinez reported. "Maintain course," Wright ordered. "Prepare to activate gravity oscillators on my command." The plan was daring. The Earth ships would get close enough to the Vorax vessels, then activate their modified gravity systems at maximum power. If Dr. Taylor's calculations were correct, the effect would extend beyond their ships, creating a bubble of rocking gravitational waves that would incapacitate the Vorax crews. "They're charging weapons," Communications Officer Winters warned. "Now," Wright commanded. Throughout all 3 Earth ships, the gravity oscillators engaged at full power. The human crews felt mild discomfort, like being on a boat in gentle waves. But the effect on the approaching Vorax ships was dramatic. The alien vessels began to drift erratically. Their weapons fire missed widely. Through the view screens, Wright could see Vorax crew members visible in their ship's windows, clearly struggling to remain functional. "It's working," Martinez exclaimed. "Take us in closer to the command ship," Wright ordered. Prepare the rescue team. As the Tranquility approached the larger Vorax vessel, Wright turned to Security Chief Frank Nelson. Your team ready? Nelson nodded. Yes, sir. We've all taken motion sickness medication as a precaution, but we're good to go. Remember, Wright said, your primary mission is to rescue our people. Secondary objective is to gather any intelligence you can about their fleet. On the Vorax command ship, the gravity waves had thrown the vessel into chaos. Alarms blared as crew members collapsed at their stations. Lieutenant Reyes felt the strange rocking sensation and immediately understood what was happening. It's our people, he told the other prisoners. They're using the rocking motion against the Vorax. The guards escorting them were struggling to stay upright. One fell to his knees, dropping his weapon. Reyes didn't hesitate. He grabbed the alien weapon and used it to stun the guard. The other prisoners quickly followed his example, overwhelming the disoriented guards. This way, Reyes shouted, leading them toward what he believed was the docking bay. As they rounded a corner, they nearly collided with a team of humans in Earth Fleet uniforms. Lieutenant Reyes? A woman at the front asked in surprise. Sergeant Ashley Cook, Reyes said with relief. Boy, are we glad to see you. We came to rescue you, Cook explained. But it looks like you started without us. Your timing is perfect, Reyes replied. We need to get out of here before they adapt to the rocking motion. Together, the freed prisoners and rescue team made their way to the docking bay where Earth shuttles had attached to the Vorax ship. As they boarded, Reyes noticed something interesting. Wait, he said, pointing to a nearby Vorax shuttle. We should take that too. Their technology could be valuable. Can you fly it? Sergeant Cook asked. I've been watching them, Reyes said. I think so. While the rest of the group boarded the Earth shuttles, Reyes and 2 volunteers entered the alien craft. The controls were strange but not incomprehensible. After a few minutes of study, Reyes managed to power up the shuttle. Tranquility, this is Reyes, he radioed. We've secured an alien shuttle and are bringing it home. Understood, Lieutenant, came Wright's voice. All shuttles return immediately. The Vorax are starting to adapt. Indeed, some of the alien crew were beginning to move again, using the walls for support as they fought against the disorienting gravity waves. The Earth shuttles and the captured Vorax craft launched from the docking bay and headed toward the Tranquility. As they approached, Reyes could see that the other Earth ships were already turning away from the alien fleet. All rescue craft accounted for, Martinez reported as Reyes landed the alien shuttle in the Tranquility's bay. Excellent, Wright said. Take us home. The Earth vessels pulled away, maintaining the gravity oscillations until they were at safe distance. Behind them, the Vorax ships were recovering, but made no immediate attempt to pursue. In the debriefing room later, Lieutenant Reyes shared what he had learned as a prisoner. They think our rocking chairs are some kind of advanced gravity technology, he explained. They believe we've evolved special defenses against gravitational attacks. That gives us an advantage, Wright said, but they'll adapt eventually. Maybe, Dr. Taylor agreed, having joined the Tranquility to study the captured Vorax shuttle. But I'm already working on portable devices that can create the same effect. Imagine gravity grenades that could incapacitate Vorax soldiers instantly. Wright looked thoughtful. We need to get this information to Earth. The main invasion fleet will arrive soon and we'll need every ship equipped with these oscillators. The Tranquility and her companions set course for Earth, carrying valuable prisoners, an alien shuttle, and most importantly, hope that humanity had found a way to defend itself against the Vorax invasion. Earth transformed into a massive workshop as the main Vorax invasion fleet approached. Every ship in the defense fleet was being retrofitted with gravity oscillators. Factories worked day and night to produce what people now called rocker grenades, small devices that could create localized gravity disturbances. Admiral Davis stood in the command center, studying the holographic display of the solar system. The red dots representing Vorax ships had passed Mars orbit and continued to advance toward Earth. How many ships have been upgraded? He asked Colonel Simmons. 87%, she replied. The rest will be ready within 12 hours. It will have to be enough, Davis said grimly. Intelligence suggests they'll be in attack range tomorrow. Dr. Taylor entered the command center, carrying what looked like a small metal ball. "The portable units are ready, Admiral. We've produced 10,000 so far," Davis nodded. "Distribute them to the Special Forces teams first. How's the research on the captured shuttle going?" "Very well," Taylor said. "We've learned a great deal about Vorax technology. They're advanced in many ways, but their vulnerability to oscillating gravity fields is a significant weakness." The Admiral turned to Captain Wright, who had been coordinating fleet tactics. "Captain, our plan depends on your tranquility drawing their attention while our smaller vessels plant oscillators on key enemy ships." Wright nodded. "The tranquility is ready, sir. We've enhanced our oscillators to create an even stronger field." "Good," Davis said, "because we've intercepted communications indicating their Supreme Commander Hrax's Zenith is personally leading this attack. They're taking us very seriously now." Aboard the Vorax command vessel, Supreme Commander Hrax's Zenith reviewed the reports from the earlier encounters with human ships. The loss of a patrol ship and the escape of human prisoners was concerning, but not disastrous. More troubling was the humans' apparent immunity to gravitational disturbances that incapacitated Vorax soldiers. "Have the protective measures been distributed?" Hrax's Zenith asked his chief scientist. "Yes, Commander," the scientist replied. "All soldiers have been equipped with stability enhancers. They should provide some protection against the human gravity weapons." "Some protection is not enough," Hrax's Zenith said. "The humans must not be allowed to keep this technology. Their world has resources we need, and their gravity manipulation abilities make them too dangerous to be left alone." "We understand, Commander," the scientist said. "The fleet is ready to attack." On Earth, final preparations were underway. Colonel Simmons briefed a special operations team that would attempt to board the Vorax command ship during the battle. "Your mission is crucial," she told them. "Plant these oscillators on the command ship's engine room and bridge. If we can disrupt their leadership, their attack will fall apart." Sergeant Vincent Rogers, who would lead the team, studied the layout of the Vorax ship based on information from Lieutenant Reyes. "We'll need to move fast. Even with their stability problems, they outnumber us." "Speed is essential," Simmons agreed. "Get in, plant the devices, get out." The next morning, long-range sensors detected the Vorax fleet entering Earth orbit. Nearly 300 alien ships positioned themselves in attack formation. In the command center, Admiral Davis gave the order, "All ships launch. Execute battle plan rocking chair." Across the planet, Earth's defense fleet rose to meet the invaders. The Tranquility, now the flagship of the fleet, led the charge. "All ships reporting ready, Captain," Martinez said on the Tranquility's bridge. "Commence primary attack run," Wright ordered. "Communications. Broadcast on all frequencies." Communications Officer Winters opened a channel. "This is Captain Samuel Wright of Earth Defense Force. Vorax Fleet, we offer you one chance to retreat." After a moment, a reply came. The six-eyed face of Supreme Commander Hrax's Zenith appeared on the main screen. "Humans, your gravity weapons have been countered. Surrender your planet or be destroyed." Wright smiled slightly. "We'll take that as a no." The human fleet engaged the Vorax ships. Unlike traditional space battles, this one had a strange dance-like quality. Earth ships maneuvered close to Vorax vessels, activated their oscillators, then quickly moved away as the aliens were thrown into confusion. Aboard the Tranquility, Wright directed the battle with calm precision. Group 2, target the left flank. Group 3, prepare for the second phase. The plan was working. Although the Vorax had indeed developed some countermeasures, against the gravity disturbances they were only partially effective. Many alien ships drifted out of formation, their crews struggling to function. "Special Operations Team Alpha reports ready for boarding," Martinez announced. "Give them the go-ahead," Wright replied. A small, stealthy craft detached from one of Earth's larger ships and headed toward the Vorax command vessel. Inside, Sergeant Rogers and his team prepared their equipment. "Remember," Rogers told his team, "quick and quiet. Plant the oscillators and get out before they know what hit them." The craft attached itself to the hull of the massive Vorax ship. Using cutting tools, the team created an entry point and slipped inside. The corridors of the alien vessel were curved and disorienting, but Lieutenant Reyes had prepared them well. Rogers consulted his tablet, which showed a map based on Reyes's observations. "Engine room first," he whispered to his team. "Then the bridge." They moved through the ship, encountering surprisingly little resistance. The Vorax were focused on the space battle, not expecting an infiltration. When they did meet alien soldiers, the team used their rocker grenades to quickly incapacitate them. "These things work even better than expected," one of the team members commented as they watched a Vorax guard collapse, overwhelmed by the localized gravity disturbance. In the engine room, they placed several oscillators in key locations. The I devices were small and easily hidden among the alien machinery. "Bridge next," Rogers said. "Let's move." Meanwhile, in space, the battle continued. The Vorax fleet's formation had broken down, but they still outnumbered the Earth ships and were beginning to adapt to the gravity attacks. "They're starting to compensate," Martinez warned, as a Vorax cruiser managed to score a hit on a smaller Earth vessel. "Switch to pattern Delta," Wright ordered. "Vary the oscillation frequencies, don't let them adapt." The Earth ships changed tactics, altering the patterns of their gravity attacks. Once again, the Vorax ships began to drift and fire wildly. On the Vorax command ship, Sergeant Rogers and his team reached the bridge level. The security was heavier here, but still manageable with their special equipment. 30 seconds to plant the devices, then we're out, Rogers told the team. They breached the last security door and rushed onto the bridge. Supreme Commander Hrax Zenith and the bridge crew turned in surprise as the humans entered. "Now!" Rogers shouted. The team activated their rocker grenades while placing the permanent oscillators around the bridge. The effect was immediate. The Vorax officers collapsed, including Hrax Zenith himself. Devices planted. "Mission accomplished," Rogers reported over his comm, returning to extraction point. As the team retreated, Rogers noticed something interesting. The Supreme Commander was using some kind of device that seemed to be partially protecting him from the effects. He was still conscious, though clearly struggling. "Human!" Hrax Zenith called out. "This is not over. We will adapt to your weapon." Rogers paused at the door. "It's not a weapon. It's a rocking chair." The confused look on the alien commander's face was worth the delay. Rogers rejoined his team and they made their way back to their craft. As they detached from the Vorax ship, they could see the effects of their mission. The command vessel was drifting, its weapons silent. "Command ship neutralized," Rogers reported to the Tranquility. "Excellent work," Wright replied. "All ships, focus fire on their remaining operational vessels." The tide of battle had turned decisively in Earth's favor. Without clear leadership, the Vorax fleet began to break apart, some ships retreating while others continued to fight in an uncoordinated fashion. "They're starting to withdraw," Martinez announced with barely contained excitement. Wright allowed himself a small smile. "Maintain pressure. Don't let them regroup." The rocking chairs of Earth had given humanity an unexpected advantage in their first interstellar war, but Captain Wright knew that the Vorax would not give up so easily. This was only the beginning. 3 days after the battle near Earth, Captain Samuel Wright stood on the bridge of the Tranquility. The ship, along with 2 other vessels, was following the retreating Vorax to their forward base in the Kuiper Belt, beyond Neptune. "They've stopped at a large asteroid," First Officer Martinez reported. "Looks like they're regrouping." Wright studied the tactical display. About 50 Vorax ships had gathered around the asteroid, including their damaged command vessel. It was clear they were preparing for another attack. "Options?" Wright asked his officers. "We could call for reinforcements and finish them off," suggested Security Chief Nelson. Communications Officer Winters spoke up. "Or we could try to talk. They must know they can't win against our gravity weapons." Wright considered both ideas. The victory at Earth had been decisive, but not complete. Many Vorax ships had escaped. If they returned to their home world, they might come back with an even larger fleet, possibly with better protections against the oscillators. "I have another idea," Wright said finally. "Dr. Taylor, you've been studying Vorax physiology from our prisoners. Is there any way we could help them withstand our gravity and the rocking motion?" Dr. Taylor looked surprised. Help them? Well, yes, theoretically. I could design stabilizing suits that would protect them from the effects. But why would we do that? Because I'm tired of fighting, Wright said simply. And sometimes the best way to end a war is with an unexpected gesture. Wright outlined his plan to his officers. Some were skeptical, but they trusted their captain. The Tranquility moved closer to the asteroid base and broadcast a message requesting a meeting with Supreme Commander Hrax Zenith. To everyone's surprise, the Vorax agreed. They suggested meeting on a small, neutral moon nearby. Dr. Taylor worked day and night to create 3 special suits designed for Vorax physiology. They contained counter-oscillation technology that would protect the aliens from Earth's gravity weapons and even allow them to function normally in Earth-normal gravity. Are these ready? Wright asked as he inspected the strange-looking suits. Yes, but I've only had Vorax prisoners to test them on, Taylor warned. I can't guarantee they'll work perfectly for their commander. It's a risk we'll have to take, Wright said. The next day, the Tranquility approached the meeting point. Wright, Martinez, and Dr. Taylor prepared to board a shuttle wearing null-gravity suits that would show their peaceful intentions by making them just as vulnerable as the Vorax. This is either brilliant or crazy, Martinez said as they entered the shuttle. Sometimes there's not much difference, Wright replied with a small smile. They landed on the airless moon and walked to the designated meeting area. 3 Vorax were waiting for them, including Supreme Commander Hrax Zenith, who still showed signs of discomfort from Earth's gravity weapons. The 2 groups faced each other in silence for a moment. Then Wright activated his external speaker. Supreme Commander, thank you for agreeing to this meeting. We come in peace. Hrax Zenith's translator conveyed his reply. You come after defeating half my fleet with your gravity weapons. Why should I trust you? Because of this, Wright said, gesturing to their null-gravity suits. We've made ourselves vulnerable, just as you are, and because we've brought you these. Dr. Taylor opened a container to reveal the 3 stabilizing suits designed for Vorax. Physiology. What are these devices? Hrax Zenith asked suspiciously. Stabilizing suits, Wright explained. They will protect you from the effects of our gravity oscillators and allow you to function normally, even on Earth if you wish. We're offering them as a gesture of peace. The Vorax leaders conferred among themselves in their clicking language. Finally, Hrax Zenith stepped forward. Why would you give us protection against your greatest weapon? Wright chose his words carefully. Because what you call our weapon was never designed as one. The rocking chairs that confused you so much? They're comfort devices meant to soothe human babies and children. The motion reminds us of being in our mother's arms. When we discovered your sensitivity to this motion, we used it defensively. But that was never its purpose. Dr. Taylor added, your species evolved in different conditions than ours. What comforts us disturbs you, but these suits can bridge that gap. To demonstrate, Taylor showed diagrams of how the suits worked. The Vorax scientists among the delegation seemed especially interested. Will you try one? Wright asked. After another conference, Hrax Zenith agreed. With Taylor's guidance, the Vorax commander put on one of the stabilizing suits. The change was immediate. His posture straightened, and his movements became more fluid. The discomfort, it's gone, Hrax Zenith said, sounding genuinely surprised. This technology could be shared, Wright proposed, in exchange for peace between our worlds. The Supreme Commander tested the suit further, moving around with increasing confidence. Your species continues to surprise us, Captain Wright. We assumed the rocking motion was a weapon you had evolved to resist. We attacked because we feared what other gravity technologies you might possess. A misunderstanding, Wright said. One we can move past. Over the next few hours, they negotiated the basic terms of a peace agreement. The Vorax would withdraw from the solar system, but would be welcome to return as peaceful visitors. Earth would share the stabilizing technology so Vorax could visit human worlds comfortably. In return, the Vorax would share their advanced propulsion technology. When they returned to the Tranquility, Wright's crew was waiting anxiously. Well, Martinez asked as they removed their suits. We have a preliminary peace agreement, Wright. announced. "There's a lot of work ahead, but the fighting is over." "All because of rocking chairs," Winters said with a shake of his head. 6 months later, Captain Wright stood in a newly constructed meeting room on Earth's moon base Alpha. The room had been specially designed for human-Vorax diplomatic relations. Most notably, it contained specially designed chairs that both species could use comfortably. As the Vorax diplomats entered, Wright noticed they were wearing the newer version of Dr. Taylor's stabilizing suits, now smaller and more comfortable. The lead diplomat approached Wright and extended a 3-fingered hand in the human handshake they had learned. "Captain Wright, it is good to see you again," the diplomat said. "Likewise," Wright replied. "How do you find your new chair design?" The diplomat settled into one of the special chairs. It didn't rock, but it supported Vorax physiology perfectly, while allowing them to sit comfortably in human gravity. Most satisfactory. Though I must admit, some of our younger scientists have actually begun to appreciate your rocking motion in small doses. They say it helps them think differently. Wright smiled. Cultural exchange works in unexpected ways. As the formal diplomatic meeting began, Wright reflected on the strange journey that had brought them here. A simple rocking chair had nearly started a war, and in the end, understanding its true purpose had helped bring peace. The special chairs in the diplomatic room symbolized this understanding. Different designs for different needs, but all gathered around the same table. Not perfect, but a promising beginning.